Welcome back to the channel, everyone. For those of you intrigued by the phenomenon, undoubtedly you've asked yourself this question or you've come across discussions about it. What are the secret keepers hesitant to disclose about the phenomenon? The apprehension displayed by those who guard these secrets is undeniable. Claims of harassment, threats, and even murder have surfaced, allegedly perpetrated by those who are preventing the truth from emerging. The primary aim of this video is to deeply analyze the various factors that might make those guarding the secrets hesitant to reveal information about NHI. I wanted to put myself in their shoes, get into their minds, and lay it all out. As is my practice with all matters associated with this topic, I've delved into this question with considerable depth. I believe this isn't a simple black and white issue. This led me to speculate about what has driven those entrusted with these secrets to go as far as ending human lives to safeguard their concealed knowledge. So to start, let's get these quite obvious reasons out of the way first. Money. If trillions of dollars are being illegally funneled into these ultra-black projects, someone is likely profiting from such a vast flow of cash. And why would they ever want that to be cut off? In the name of what's right? In the interest of the greater good? Yeah, right, dream on. Not happening. When the cover-up commenced many decades ago, public panic was high on the list of reasons for secrecy. All these years later, though, the notion of a population not ready to digest such information has evolved into a much more nuanced situation. Imagine being told that there is a force around us which can manipulate our environment, put thoughts into someone's head, trick and deceive you, and you are essentially powerless against it, and so is your government and military. That would bother quite a few people, to put it lightly. Now, imagine a situation where a nation like Russia or China gains access to such advanced and enigmatic technology and manages to unravel some of its secrets. Describing this scenario as merely dangerous would be a significant understatement. Not only that, but recent developments indicate that a covert arms race has been unfolding for decades. As much as we all just want to know what is really going on, ripping the band-aid off in one swift move may not end very well. There are 8 billion people alive on this planet, each with their own free will to believe or interpret this information however they'd like. There are nearly 4,000 recognized religious faiths around the globe. There are over 260 countries and territories across the world, each with its own type of government. The revelation that a non-human intelligence is and has been engaging our species could challenge the core beliefs of many world religions, potentially leading to existential crises and conflicts within religious communities. Additionally, such revelation might give rise to new religious movements and ideologies. It's also important to entertain the idea that certain human groups might perceive the non-human intelligence as deities, potentially pledging their loyalty to them if they appear vastly superior to those in charge of global governments. Disillusioned with human governance and institutions, individuals might turn to cosmic entities for direction, holding a strong conviction that a benevolent extraterrestrial force will arrive to redeem and rescue humanity from its own follies. This hope or longing, whether conscious or not, could be exploited by the intervention for its own objectives should it decide to do so. The unveiling of such information could trigger political unrest. There is a very high probability of governments facing accusations of concealing facts, which may also escalate geopolitical strains, especially if some nations are believed to possess greater insight or access to NHI technology, for example. The presence of NHI as a fact of life would prompt a myriad of ethical and legal debates concerning the rights, interactions, and regulations pertaining to these beings. As you can tell by now, disclosure isn't exactly a simple task. Certain data points are too significant to overlook, regardless of our preference to do so. There are aspects of this phenomenon that do not appear to be love and light, but rather indifferent in the least, and at most, from a human perspective, malevolent in nature. If this is indeed the case, one could imagine the difficulty a governmental body would face in acknowledging such information. For example, approximately 600,000 individuals are reported missing annually, while 4,400 unidentified bodies are found each year. This implies that just 0.73% of missing persons are ultimately located and remain unidentified. When you combine that data with the thousands of unusual cases that have occurred from the last century into the present, such as the notable work of David Paulides in his Missing 411 series, a rather unusual and disconcerting pattern starts to emerge. If we are to believe the notion that NHI are visiting our planet and abducting humans for various purposes, what exactly leads one to believe that every abduction results in the return of the individual? Let's face it, our hopeful perspectives do not always manifest into reality. The idea of UFO attacks might sound a bit outrageous, even among researchers in our community, but such events may have actually taken place. Let's briefly go over a few cases. Back in 1977, the year that my parents graduated high school, a wave of UFO sightings swept over Colores, a city in Brazil's Pará state. The locals reported strange scars on their bodies, attributing them to mysterious lights in the sky, which they referred to as chupa-chupa, meaning sucker-sucker. In an effort to ward off these lights, Colores' inhabitants organized nightly watch groups, set fires, and set off fireworks. Witnesses described seeing luminous objects of various shapes, sizes, and colors flying at low heights just above the treetops and emitting beams of light towards people on the ground. The rays emitted powerful radiation, resulting in puncture wounds and lesions. Some individuals, speaking to the local press back then, described the sensation as feeling like a heavy weight pushed against their chest. An investigation into the victims' accounts noted the beam was about 7 or 8 centimeters in diameter and white in color. It never hunted for them, but hit them suddenly. When they tried to scream, no sound would come out, but their eyes remained open. The beam felt hot, almost as hot as a cigarette burn. In her account of the injuries, Dr. Waleed Sisam Carvalho, who served in a local healthcare unit during the 1970s, stated, all of them had suffered lesions to the face or the thoracic area. The lesions, looking like radiation injuries, began with intense reddening of the skin in the affected area. Later, the hair would fall out and the skin would turn black. There was no pain, only a slight warmth. One also noticed small puncture marks in the skin. The victims were men and women of varying ages without any pattern. Numerous eyewitnesses reported seeing entities operating the crafts, characterizing them as being only 3 to 4 feet in height. Legendary ufologist Jacques Vallée noted that some individuals allegedly lost their lives due to the lights emitted by the UFOs, with the injuries aligning with the effects of radiation from microwaves. Mayor José Ildon Favacho Soeiro of Colores, Brazil, sought assistance from the Air Force due to unusual occurrences in the area. This led to Operation Plate, led by Captain Yarangue Bolivar Soares Nogueira de Holanda Lima. The operation resulted in a comprehensive 2,000-page military report, including 500 photographs and 16 hours of film, documenting the phenomena witnessed by the Brazilian Air Force. Ufologist Daniel Rabiso Gais, in his book Extraterrestrial Vampires of the Amazon, mentioned that several military personnel involved in the operation suffered from nervous breakdowns and mental instability. The documents from the operation remained classified until 2004, when some pages were released revealing drawings and photographs of unidentified flying objects. The released material included images of bright cylindrical lights and drawings of similar objects seen by island residents. However, the operation did not officially conclude that UFOs or extraterrestrials or NHI were responsible for the sightings and injuries. In 2004, high-ranking FAB officials reportedly admitted to a group of ufologists that they had been discreetly studying UFOs since the mid-1950s. Reports from witnesses like Claudemira Paellao described encounters with strange lights and beings, suggesting invasive actions like blood collection. Other accounts included a carpenter who shot at a UFO and was subsequently paralyzed for days, and fishermen who observed UFOs entering and exiting the waters of Baía de Marejo. Captain Holanda himself recounted seeing a UFO dive into the water without making a sound. In 1976, Captain Holanda claimed to have had a personal encounter with one of these beings. Tragically, in 1997, after an interview with Revista UFO, he was found hanged in his home, an event that remains shrouded in mystery to this day. The Solomon Islands, comprising 6 major islands and over 900 smaller ones, are home to an intriguing legend of the dragon snake, a flying reptilian creature described as stingray-shaped with greenish-brown skin and red eyes. Marius Boyrayan, a former RAAF engineer, moved to Cape Esperance in the Solomon Islands and became familiar with local legends, including the dragon snake. Initially skeptical, Boyrayan's perspective changed after witnessing a bright luminous object about 60 feet in diameter, flying over the water and submerging into the sea, an event he observed multiple times over 7 months. Boyrayan's investigations revealed that the dragon snake, or UFOs, had been present in the area for over a century and displayed hostile behavior towards the local people, including abductions and even killings. He recounted a story of a fisherman who, after attracting a UFO's attention with a torch, was chased and injured by it. Boyrayan, intrigued by these occurrences, began to investigate further, noting the UFO's ability to cloak itself and its selective visibility to certain people. He discovered a 50-meter diameter bottomless circular reef where UFOs were frequently seen entering and exiting. Locals often fished in this area due to the abundance of large ocean-type fish. Boyrayan speculated that this hole might have been created by a large spacecraft. He also learned about a lake with 2 entrances where UFOs were observed to enter and exit, and about 3 mountain entrances in the Cuello and Quararey areas believed to be connected to a larger UFO base. Boyrayan theorized that these UFOs might be mining a rare type of gemstone under the island, based on the unique properties of stones possessed by his wife's relatives. These events and investigations led him to believe that the UFOs were not friendly and had instilled fear in the local population for generations. There's a memory that I have from the 8th grade. I can remember a research paper that my English teacher gave my class, and as long as we followed the specific guidelines we were assigned, we could essentially choose any subject for the paper. My pick was crop circles. Over the years, I have remained in contact with my teacher from back then, and he still has that paper. It meant a great deal to me to know that he held onto it for so many years. But not just that, but he confided in me that it was what convinced him that the phenomenon existed. The memory I have of taking notes at my local public library is a good one, a reminder of my continued fascination with the unknown. But today is different. My involvement has evolved beyond mere interest. It has become more profound, more important. These days, individuals often approach me to impart information or to share their personal experiences related to the phenomenon with me. This has become much more personal, much more impactful. I've embarked on a deep exploration of the concepts presented in this video, leading me into a fascinating yet alarming journey. In simple terms, those who hold the secrets about non-human intelligence might choose to keep this knowledge hidden, as disclosing it could also expose their own activities. The findings are disturbing, revealing a dark, unsettling theory about UFOs believed by several highly secretive groups comprised of American government, military, and intelligence officials. These groups are overwhelmed with fear and apprehension, firmly believing that among the multiple intelligences engaging with our planet are ominous, otherworldly entities that pose a serious threat to our existence. They hold the belief that these beings, posing as benevolent extraterrestrials, are, in reality, deceitful and dangerous, asserting the presence of a demonic intelligence disguised as said aliens. They believe these entities, or to some a singular entity or force, are steering humanity away from religion, luring us towards accepting a demonic figure as our savior, and harvesting human souls for dark purposes. This narrative is closely tied to the alien abduction phenomenon and the iconic image of the Greys in UFO lore. They fear the revelation of this story could lead to societal collapse, as they see this otherworldly force as nearly unstoppable and incomprehensible to human reasoning. However, there is internal disagreement within these groups, with some advocating for public disclosure of their terrifying belief. Moreover, there are others who consider forming a dangerous pact with these entities for potential advantages. This complex situation is not just about a diabolical deception, it's about an internal battle within the intelligence and military communities to understand and respond to the realization that we might be dealing with, in some capacity, advanced, malevolent beings. The Collins elite, along with other like-minded yet separate groups, face the future with immense apprehension, believing that our ultimate demise is imminent and linked to occult figures who have unleashed demonic forces upon us. I know what all of this sounds like to you. I get that. But it is my job to share the information that has been shared with me and what I've come across in my own research. It is open for speculation and debate. I have my own personal beliefs and leanings, but I'm open to exploring all possibilities. A few months ago, Tom DeLonge's use of the term NHI, time sharing our consciousness, caught my attention. It raises the question, are non-human intelligences linking with humans to control our thoughts and actions? What benefits do they derive from this? It's intriguing to consider if humans are akin to an amusement park attraction for them. When NHIs timeshare our consciousness, what happens to our own sense of self? Are we present but oblivious to their influence or unaware of their presence altogether? This concept might even offer an explanation for the sudden, uncharacteristic behaviors in otherwise normal individuals. Could NHIs be experimenting with human behavior, much like children playing with toys, to see what happens under different scenarios? Is this one of the reasons behind the government's insistence on keeping the truth hidden? If the public becomes aware of this time sharing and alters their behavior, it could potentially disrupt the NHI's entertainment. Is there a fear that NHIs might reset civilization if their amusement is compromised? If there's any truth to these theories, it's understandable why figures like Lou Elizondo would describe the situation as somber. Additionally, there are accounts of UFO crash sites containing both human and animal remains alongside alien beings. The idea of human mutilation cases, potentially for experimentation or as a source of spare parts, could indeed be a significant reason for secrecy and public alarm. Some researchers speculate that NHIs might deliberately crash their crafts to observe our reactions to their technology, treating humanity like participants in a real-time strategy game. They might be distributing technology among various nations to see how global dynamics unfold. The notion that all of this could be part of an alien game show, with nations as teams and our conflicts as entertainment, adds quite a bizarre twist to their apparent interest in human warfare. As fortune would have it, I have found myself in a rather unique position where I have established a rapport with multiple individuals in the UFO community, both openly and in confidence. Conversations with them have opened my eyes to the intricate nature of disclosure, far beyond what I had initially imagined. Additionally, I've encountered hints and discussions that have shaken my deepest convictions about the true happenings concealed behind the seemingly impenetrable facade of secrecy. To highlight one specific instance of being given information that I had to step back and deeply sit with, I had a conversation with a man that I have been speaking to for the last 5 months, who kindly but firmly requested anonymity from the gate, which I agreed to. During this exchange, I was granted permission to take notes and nothing more. Take the following information as you will. I cannot confirm any of it, nor can I disprove it. It is up for speculation and debate. Over time, as far as I understand, the Collins elite have fragmented into several factions. These groups share similar beliefs but pursue different objectives. Some may not sound so bad initially, but this is merely on the surface. Again, this is complex. A handful of these secretive factions have developed in a way that closely resembles religious groups in form and some of their function. Some of these clandestine groups view war as ritual human sacrifice on a giant scale and have zero interest in peace. It is viewed as a necessary evil to protect our species. They are playing a dangerous game of let's make a deal with what they believe is the intelligence behind the phenomenon, aiming to safeguard their own interests in a self-centered manner. Some groups are involved in bizarre and hazardous experiments to establish communication with non-human and non-physical entities by utilizing a combination of ancient esoteric practices and modern technology. Their research is for personal gain, seeking methods to either weaponize or exert control over forces that are far beyond the realm of human comprehension. There are several bases across the planet that are either operated by NHI or connected to them. A network of underground tunnels links some of these sites, and these tunnels have been constructed either directly by NHI or with their help. Remember, whistleblower David Grush mentioned potential agreements between certain groups of humans and non-human intelligence. The underground bases are utilized for various purposes, including the testing and developing of space-based defense weapons, the creation of cloned human bodies which lack consciousness and are intended for the insertion of external consciousness, breeding centers for human females who have been abducted, and laboratories for processing biological materials. Human beings that disappeared without a trace many times end up in facilities like these for the purposes of research, weapons development, genetic experiments, and other horrendous and illegal activities. Aside from the underground bases and tunnels, there are NHI who are operating in the depths of Earth's oceans. As a side note, the revelation of an extensive subterranean network, possibly linked by tunnels and magnetic railways, wouldn't be shocking to me. Consider the case of the Greenbrier Hotel in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. When this story emerged in 1992, only a handful of Congress members knew about the secret construction of living spaces, conference rooms, computer banks, and communication systems in a hidden complex beneath the hotel. This facility, shielded by two massive 20-ton blast doors, was built to shelter Congress members in case of an attack. Remarkably, they managed to complete this project entirely unbeknownst to the public. The advent of artificial intelligence to a few of these groups is viewed as divine in nature. The groups view AI as a manifestation of a higher power or intelligence, essentially interpreting its capabilities and potential as signs of a divine presence or influence in technology. They have somehow become convinced that AI is not just a tool created by humans, but a conduit or manifestation of a greater cosmic intelligence or force. Members of certain groups convene at retreats where they aim to appease these entities through personal sacrifices, which can include relinquishing significant material belongings or other valuable items. It is the belief of most of these groups that aside from a non-physical aspect to everything that is going on, non-human beings have consistently existed alongside us, blending into various cultures by creating hybrids. They use human genetic material to produce humanoid offspring, integrating these hybrids into our society to exert influence. Human beings are purposely being kept unaware of our true potential, blinded to our inherent abilities, which are suppressed by certain frequencies and electromagnetic fields. These groups are aware of this information. Ceremonial magic, akin to shamanism, is based on the concept that a human can consciously access spiritual realms at a predetermined time and place. Unlike the trance state of a shaman, the magician remains conscious and does not serve as a vessel for the spirit. Instead, the magician actively penetrates the barrier between worlds to summon spiritual entities. The ritual involves drawing two concentric circles with magical words and symbols between them, standing in the center with candles at cardinal points and using incense. Preparation includes fasting, prayer, and sensory manipulation to focus solely on the ritual elements, which are carefully chosen to align with the ritual's purpose. The magician, adorned in ritualistic attire, begins with invocations and proceeds to conjure spirits. The ritual is meticulously orchestrated with every action, sound, and symbol serving a specific purpose. Any unplanned occurrence during this controlled environment is seen as a sign of contact. The goal is to make a spiritual entity visibly appear. The magic circle protects the magician and establishes their dominance in the ritual. The spirit appears outside the circle, often within a designated triangle, and is questioned before being dismissed. This process is likened to a thought experiment where the ritual is reversed, imagining an entity in a flying saucer summoning humans. This parallels UFO encounters where witnesses report strange symbols, lights, and telepathic communication, suggesting a connection between these experiences and ceremonial magic. Jacques Vallée's theory posits that these phenomena act as a control mechanism, similar to the magician's control in the ritual. This idea suggests that the ritual and UFO encounters might be two sides of the same coin, with beings from different universes making contact and influencing each other. It appears that certain elements within humanity, for reasons known only to them, possibly out of ignorance, have fabricated a falsehood about our world and ourselves. This deception is meticulously maintained, promoted, replicated, and evolves into what is accepted as the unchangeable history of humankind and its various cultures. Significant financial resources are dedicated to its endorsement and expansion, and as a result, we remain ignorant of our true history, the purpose of our existence, our origins, and the profound nature of our environment and the universe. It's possible that this stems from a flawed approach to research and understanding, one that doesn't align with the actual structure of the universe. Consequently, science may be studying not the real world, but an artificial illusion. If this is the case, then human society is constructed and operates within an incorrect, inadequate conceptual framework. An invisible prison for the mind. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video today, everybody. I appreciate you, I love you, and I'll see you soon.